Parkway and Drake, or head over to flowhuntsville.com to book your next party now.
You've got it locked on your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Nick Saban Show. This is Eli Gold, and this is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Can you get me a little typeset?
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a Beat the Big Dog Thursday here in the Doghouse. That has been the way it's been rolling lately. There's been a lot of beating the big dog going on here, but we do have a Beat the Big Dog coming up at the top of the 1 o'clock hour for you today. It was a bloodbath last week. I mean, it was just, I went 1-5 against the spread, while Wolverine Dan beat me with a 2-4 record. I mean, that is just, beat me. Do something to beat me. Don't just pick the Detroit Lions and beat me. I mean, do something to beat me. You're 1-5. I had to go all the way to 1-5 for Wolverine Dan to beat me at 2-4. Grizz was also 2-4 to pick up a game on me for the season. And the only guy to even get half of the games right was Fox 54's Mo Carter, who was 3-3 for the best mark of the bunch. The guest pickers are 8-11 on the season. The listeners are 13-17, which is tied with me, 13-17. I mean, this is horrific. And Grizz is 11-19. He's creeping back into the picture. He's 8 games under, and he's creeping back into the picture. These are the worst early season numbers that I've ever seen in the 15 or 16 years that we've been doing Beat the Big Dog. Now, you're playing for a pair of tickets to the Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl, which will be played Thursday, December 30th at 1 o'clock at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. And this week, our guest picker is Eitan Shander out of Philadelphia because, A, he hosts numerous sports handicapping shows, and he should know something. And 2, he's in Philadelphia, and after Philadelphia swept the Marlins in the best of 3 wild card series, the Braves now know that they're going to be playing the Phillies in the NLDS. So we figure we'll get a little Phillies insight from his as well. Yeah, it's those Phillies again who took Atlanta out last season in 4 games in the best of 5 divisional series. Now, the Phillies finished 14 games behind the Braves this season. But you know what? They finished 14 games behind the Braves last season. Game 1 on Saturday will be huge, as Atlanta will send Spencer Strider to the bump. He has never lost to Philadelphia. Spencer Strider is 7-0 with a 2.01 ERA over 7 career starts. And he was 3-0 with a 1.45 ERA against them this year. Now, last year, remember when he allowed 5 runs over 2 1/3 in Game 3 of the NLDS? He was dominant for the first couple of innings, and then he fatigued, and he fell apart in the 3rd inning. But remember, he had thrown off the mound just twice over the previous 26 days because he had that oblique strain. You know, a lot is always made about the Atlanta pitching and how they're given the opportunity to go deeper into games and how many innings they pitch and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, last year they were doomed because the pitching was kind of banged up going into the playoffs. And guess what? This year, I mean, look at it right now. I mean, you hope for the best with Spencer Strider. You got Max Fried coming off of a blister, and he's going to be able to pitch, but he hasn't pitched, a little bit because he's coming off of the blister. You have got Charlie Morton not pitching. You will have Kyle Wright coming out of the bullpen, coming off of his shoulder injury, where he pitched he had 2 starts in September and got knocked around a little bit. Was a little bit better out of the pen. I think he's pitched 4 games maybe in December since he came off the DL or the IL or whatever they call it now. I'm just saying. As great as the Braves are with 104 wins this season, are we worried about the pitching going into this NLDS? In the meantime, Ranger Suarez will go for Philly, who was the same guy that stayed there last year's game 1. He has not had a great year this year. Atlanta was 8-5 versus the Phillies this year. They took 3 of 4 in Philadelphia back in mid-September. They lost 2 of 3 at home. What was that, last week? So we'll see. Look, if you're a Braves fan, you're not like 1,000% comfortable with this whole thing. And now you've got, the Dodgers, they get to play the 6th seed Arizona Diamondbacks, which is not fair, to be honest with you. The Phillies should be playing the Dodgers. All right, coming up on the show today, in a few minutes, is Coach's Corner segment with Buckhorn head coach Matt Patterson, presented by the Hoffman Group. That is LSU Lynch's favorite segment. I know LSU Lynch has it set. He has this, like a little alarm that goes off on his phone that tells him at 12:25 on Thursdays is when he gets to hear Buckhorn head football coach Matt Patterson. I know that LSU Lynch loves that segment. It's his favorite. It's his favorite segment of the week, to be totally honest with you. Bucks got a huge region game coming up tomorrow night at Joe Davis Stadium against Mae Jemison, who, like Buckhorn, is 1-1 in region play. The Jags had a surprising win over Lee, who was off to a great start this year. They were 3-0, and then Jemison got them. And then Lee lost again last week in the non-region game to Coleman. Now, after Beat the Big Dogs, Steve Merrill is in from Wager Talk TV, and he will discuss all the action that's coming up this weekend. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. Text the show anytime, 24/7 at 7329-TA-SHOW. That's 732-982-7469. Great way to communicate with us. My X feed is at Tom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. Watch the show there. You can watch it on our YouTube channel at WZZN TV. Like and subscribe to YouTube to get the notifications. Our Facebook page is at 97.7 ESPN, and there's a link there to the YouTube feed of the show. While you're at it, get our app. You're going to need the app. Look, we got the baseball playoffs now. We've got all this high school football coming up starting tonight and tomorrow night. We have got, of course, Alabama and Army. You need these. You need the app. You need the app so you got all 5 channels of the zone. You get the over-the-air and the primary feed, and then you can select Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4, Zone 5. Tonight on Zone 5, it's Huntsville and Albertville from Milton Frank Stadium with Steve and Scott on the call for that one. Tomorrow night, 4 games. Buckhorn at Mae Jemison from the Joe. John McGough and I are on that game. Madison Academy is at Asbury on Zone 2 with Steve and Glenn Laird. On Zone 3, it's Randolph hosting Madison County with Bailey Lowry and Drew DeArmond. And on Zone 4 is that big 7A game as unbeaten Sparkman faces their biggest test of the year. They'll travel to the Madison City Stadium and take on 4-2 James Clemens, who is also unbeaten in the region. It's good stuff. All right, back in the little glass room with the slanted ceiling, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax and answering the phones and keeping us on the air and just a little bead of sweat, little temple, just over here in the temple, little bead of sweat, thinking about them Phillies. It's DJ Grizzy Grizz. That's what he said.
Who in the blue hell It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
That Tom? Hey, Tom?
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Every once in a while, Grace, she just freezes up a little bit over there. You know what I mean? I reach over there and I'm going to
kick you right in the groin, Mike.
You never know. You never know how quick. Like, you press the button, it should play.
Paul's always wrong.
Paul's always wrong. You never know.
Alabama is still Alabama.
This is Alabama.
Yeah, everything's working now.
This is a fail. I mean, there's a fail safe because I've got plenty of buttons over here too, so I can do plenty of them too. You know what I mean? So I can do plenty of them.
What if your button were
right hand arm man, his silly rabbit?
What if your button was to freeze at the same time my button was to freeze? You know what I mean? And then we would be in trouble.
I'd have a few more seconds, and then I could possibly pull up TLC over here, which is on another computer, which is stuff behind the scenes between us. And I could probably hit a button or a sound or something like that over here on this other computer. So I could have that opportunity to play another way if that didn't happen.
I'm only on page 1. Let's see, how many pages do I got? I got 1, 2.
Well, we only had 3 since the computer crashed and everything got deleted. 5, and somebody sabotaged us.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I have 15 pages right now, and I never use hardly any of them. I don't even use all of these ones on page 1. Why do I have...
Before you ask, you ought to see the other guy.
Oh, that was Nick Saban when he hurt his face. Remember that when he
ran into? Yeah.
When he got run into and he hurt his face. I mean, I hardly ever use.
And they call me stupid.
Hardly ever use that one.
Make it a double out of Abraham.
There you go. It's a double out of Abraham. I never hardly.
Someone call someone because there's a cleanup on aisle 3 as a man is down.
You know what I should use more of is I never use the call. Man, everything is moving so slow.
Those boys came down from the Big Apple and they got baked into apple pies.
Hey, pies, that's what they got. I never use. I have one page just for the callers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've got it set up color coordinated over here.
Yeah, I got this one page. It's
for
just
Dan and the Phillip
for the callers.
Pathetic performance.
But an absolutely brutal call.
Bull crap.
I mean, just for those guys.
I'm going to kick you right in the groin, Mike.
Being negative.
What an utterly disgusting, absolutely brutal call.
That's just for, I don't know why I don't use.
It's got to be one of the dumbest calls.
That one's great.
Insults. I got all
the Chris
these
Stewart one was great because I was walking the dog, I believe, when that happened. And
when
it was
happened?
It was probably one of the I had my phone up blaring loud out in public, everything like that. And I thought it was the funniest, but it was like the most, like it was the best thing I'd heard Chris Stewart ever say when he's announcing. I love it.
Awful call.
These are all for calls, and we never get a woman to call.
I don't wish that girl any bad luck, but I hope she gets hit with a car.
And then if Danny T calls, you know.
Are you a little come see, come saw?
I could drop that one. I don't know. I don't even know why. I mean, I have so many of these things on here, and yeah, if that guy calls.
For me, you're somewhere between a cockroach and that white stuff that accumulates at the corner of your mouth when you're really thirsty.
Yeah, you never know. And then sometimes Brandon.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul.
Roll Tide.
Just dumped the whole sheet. All right, hey Grizz.
Yeah.
How about this? You after the 4 sweeps yesterday. Remember yesterday I said 9 out of 12. You realize now this is enough of a sample size now to say that this is a thing. 13 of the 16 best of 3s. 13 out of the 16 best of 3 since they went to the best of 3 Wildcat format. 13 of the 16 best of 3s are 2-game sweeps. Our 2 games. Only 3 times have we had a game 3. And this is even more crazy. 8 and 8. the home team versus the road team, 8-8. 8 of those series have been won by the road team. 8 of those series have been won by the home team. I mean, that's nuts. There's no advantage. In the home team, it's not like it's a 1-2-1 or 1-1-1 or 1-2-1-2-1-1. It's all 3 games are at the higher seed.
Yeah.
And it's 8-8. That's nuts.
Absolutely crazy. And I honestly didn't expect it. I honestly didn't expect all the teams to get swept, to be honest with you. The only one that I could see that I honestly thought was going to happen was if Brandon Woodruff couldn't pitch for the Brewers, which he couldn't throughout that series, that was going to be like the huge factor because their offense just seems like every single year, it just like the Brewers will go win their division, somehow squeak by, make the playoffs or whatever, and then just it's like the Braves just get put out in the first round. I mean, and especially get put out in the wild card round like that. That's just that's tough. And Brandon Woodruff hadn't been able to play all year, and I feel like if he hadn't gotten hurt again, I think they had a better chance because once they beat Corbin Burns, they were. I mean, it was over.
Can you imagine being a Rays fan, a Tampa Bay Rays
19,000 people watching you lose.
Well, not that there is any, but I mean, if you were a Rays fan, I mean, what were they like 35-3 to start the season?
Yeah.
Do you remember when the season started?
One of the best teams.
I mean, they were like 20-0. You know what I mean? It was like, what the heck is going on? This is unbelievable. Give them the World Series now. That's why.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example as to why I discredit the Dodgers 2020 World Series championship because it was a 60-game tournament. The Rays, I don't even know what the number was. I'm going to guess. The Rays, through 60 games this season, were like 45-15. I'm guessing, all right? I'm just going to say 45-15. I'm just pulling that. I'm just taking that right out of my rectum. It's just garbage. But I bet I'm pretty close. I bet I'm not that far off through 60 games. They were like 45-15 or something.
They were 41-19.
41-19, he says. So they were 41-19. The best team in the history of baseball. And what happened? Out in 2 games.
They were 30-9 through 39 games.
30-9 that they were. Now, honestly, in your heart of hearts, how nervous are you about the Phillies?
Oh, to be honest with you, I am a little nervous. I mean, the leadoff guy in Kyle Schwarber is hitting 47 home runs. They've got a really good lineup.
It's a 190 hitter, though.
I understand that, but I mean, this is a one-time thing. You know what I mean? This is a series. Like this is Phillies hate the Braves, Braves hate the Phillies. I mean, they made a statement last night. Castellanos, when he got that double, made a statement with his ring finger out and doing all that stuff. I mean, they're trying to be like the Braves. They're trying to jazz up the crowd and that Phillies crowd because you know they're going to get crazy.
They don't have to do much.
Yeah, I know.
They don't have to do much to jazz up the crowd. Here's the thing, though. I thought the whole point of getting a bye was that you have an advantage over the wild card teams because they have to use their pitching, and then their pitching's all messed up, and your pitching is set. But they have this thing. It ends on Wednesday. They got 2 days off. Their pitching is just as lined up as the Braves' pitching is lined up. They're fine. They're not going to have any problem getting their pitching lined up. You say it's a 5-game series. I say it's a 1-game series. It's Saturday. I mean, I really, honest to God.
Oh, yeah. I think
they better win that game Saturday. Whoever wins the game Saturday is going to win that series. I'm going to say that right now. The Braves have to win. If the Phillies go into Atlanta and take the game that Spencer Strider is starting, and he's 3-0 against them this year, and he's given up he's 1.75.
He's got a 2.42 against them this year.
He's got a 1.45 ERA against them this year. He's 3-0. He's a 3-0 with a 1.45 ERA against him, according to MLB.com. In career, he's 7-0 with a 2.01. So if they walk in there and they beat Spencer Strider and take the home ice away from the Braves, it's over. It's over. All the pressure's on the Braves.
Yeah, because that second game, all that pressure on Max Fried Day, it's going to be tough because it's going to be one of those situations where can Max Fried be like Max Fried of old, or are we going to get Max Fried that's going to give up like 4 runs in the first 2 innings? And then you're going to have to like reach into your bullpen possibly.
And you don't know because he's, don't know because he's, he's coming off of being off for a while. And then you got the, you got to deal with you know what? in a perfect world, Kyle Wright will come out and eat a bunch of innings up and do great out of the bully.
I wonder if they'll do that with the Bryce Elder game. If they'll put Bryce Elder for 3 innings, then throw Kyle right out there.
Depending on how he's doing,
Yeah.
I mean, if Bryce Elder's
I just
pitching
think
all
that
right,
I just think that they should do that again because that's kind of how Snit was doing it in the playoffs on the run anyway. Was he was doing a lot of those bullpen games and it kind of worked out for him. So and people kind of questioned him when he did that. So I mean, it kind of in a sense would work out if you get Kyle Wright in those first 3 innings instead of getting Kyle Wright throughout to see if you can make him. You know what I mean? Get him a couple innings instead of the first, like I said, instead of the first 3 innings, I should say.
Let me get LSU Lynch in here because today's his favorite day of the week on the show. LSU Lynch, welcome to the show. How are you? Uh-oh, what happened? What happened, Grizz? Oh, that's yesterday? I'm sorry. Oh, my bad. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm bad there. All right, let me get Bama Beano in here because today's his favorite day of the show. Bama Beano, welcome to the show. How are you?
All right. You guys sounded like you're having too much fun, and I just thought I'd call in and roust you guys up.
Yeah, let's break it up a little bit. Break up this fun. Yeah. Why are we having fun with this show? I hear you.
I tell you what, I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys' enthusiasm and all the work you do. Besides when you're having fun, you have to do a lot of people don't realize you have to do a lot of work to keep up with what's going on, and you don't have to. It's probably something you enjoy, but you have to live it to be up to date on things. And I don't think a lot of people realize the work you guys put in it. And I know it's something you like doing, or you wouldn't do it. But I just really, I'm not gonna call names, but Wes, I think Wes for having the station and the format, because it gives mainstream American guys all over the country, and especially around here, North Alabama and Sand Mountain and out in the country, a way to get our mind away from all this madness going on in Washington and the swamp and inflation, and it just kind of gives me and a buddy of mine. We sat around here at the farm. We got stereo speakers everywhere, and when we're on a break or not got a lot of work going on, we sat around, and I've got a radio, and I've got the app on my phone. Everywhere I go, I listen to 97.7, and I've got a lot of my friends listening to it, most of them, and I just want to thank you guys for the venue that y'all are sharing. That people don't realize, even though there's a lot of madness going on, we've got a lot of freedoms in this country. A lot of people don't have.
Yeah, we do.
Right now we do. Now I don't know how long we can hang on to it, but it's just good to be able to vent away from politics, and it isn't politics anymore. It's real life. But
well, Beano, I always say that we work in the toy department of life, and I'm glad because I think there's enough craziness that is out there, and certainly there are venues to go watch the craziness and listen to the craziness if that's what you want to do. I also believe that the country is nowhere near as divided as the networks and the radio shows and the TV shows will make you think that it is, because I think it's good for their ratings to have everybody at everybody's throats. But I think for the most part, people get along. I think most of the country, pretty much gets along with each other, but we get fired up and they fire us up so that we start sniping at each other and in the social media and everything else. And it's good for them because then you got to watch, you know what I mean? Because everybody wants to watch a train wreck. Nobody wants to just realize that, you know what, most of the country gets along pretty well, for the most part.
That's true. One of my best friends is an African-American guy from Fort Payne. His name's Charles Carter. He had a son named Marcus Carter. I don't know if you remember. He played in the early Saban days from 04 to 08 or something. He was there a year or two with Saban. Marcus Carter. And he played with one of West's kids. I forget which one for a little while. And he's, of course, a businessman now. And Charles is retired from UPS. He's one of my best friends. And we rag each other about politics and this and that. But there's very little that we disagree on. It's just that I watch Fox News and he watches CNN. And Washington wants to divide us where they can control things is what it is. There's not that much a divide in what Americans want. It's just how to get there. And but I just want to say, God bless you guys. God bless the USA. And roll Tide.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Bama Bino. Grizz, he just gave you like 2 promos in there. I mean, if you get creative, you clip that guy up a little bit. He gave you like 2 or 3 promos in there. Just want to thank Wes for making the station available. And I like to thank Wes, too. Kidding me? All right, let's get a break. When we come back, Matt Patterson joining us next right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Insulation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do afterpaint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping experience for Alabama and Auburn fans. Located right here in Huntsville, come shop the best selection of officially licensed apparel, accessory, and gifts. Alumni Hall has the newest products from Nike, Under Armour, Yeti, New Era, Champion, Columbia, Southern Tide, Peter Millar, and more. And you can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in the Bridge Street Shopping Center, or shop anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where fans shop. Look the part. Go to Alumni Hall.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, and pick up the phone to call, you know, one you've seen on a billboard or on TV begging for your business, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center, not in some office 100 miles away. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to. We're the ones that you meet with.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case. You want to talk to me? You just call me.
And we'll take care of it. You worry about getting well. We'll take care of the rest.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Score big deals at Baumhauer's this football season and order from our Inflation Bites menu. Try our Buffalo Wing Special with fries and a complimentary beverage for only $9.99. And what's football without a cold beer? Our pitchers of Yingling and Yingling Flight are only $7.99, served all day, 7 days a week. And huddle up, football fans. Sign up today for our free NFL Pick'em contest at Baumhauers.com for weekly prizes. Baumhauers, legendary fun and legendary food.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
There's the phone and no one to answer.
256-576-4977.
And as a result, we got many, many phone calls and letters.
Give us a call on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline today. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Go Bucks.
TOC, using orthopedic specialist that pretty much every high school in the region uses, including Buckhorn. That's TOC Sports. Alabama A&M and the Huntsville Havoc also rely on TOC. But it doesn't have to be a sports injury. It could just be a work accident, or maybe you're just breaking down a little bit. TOC has the right specialist for you. North Alabama's largest sports medicine provider is TOC Sports. Stay in the game with TOC Sports. And, of course, Coach, as always, is brought to us by Logan Hoffman and the Hoffman Group, and he joins us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Matt Patterson. Coach, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing great today, Tom. How about you?
I'm fantastic. Those TOC trainers in the Huntsville Hospital Group there, they do a great job keeping your team as healthy as possible. And as tough as this game is, I don't know. It seems to me like they do a really tremendous job keeping you guys in good shape.
Man, they're the best. They, they're there to every time a coach is there. They're they're just a member of our staff, and I know they're paid for with TOC and Huntsville Hospital and all that, but they're one of us, and our kids treat them like that, and they do a great job of getting our kids back as soon as possible.
Yeah, no doubt about it. By the way, LSU Lynch, who is a hardcore listener to the Tom Abraham Show, he's a legend, really, in the doghouse, not listening to this segment. I cannot get him to listen on Thursdays because he is a Hazel Green Trojan through and through. And he just
I respect his loyalty. I mean,
it bristles.
No
it kills him. Yeah, he has a hard time with it. I mean, he just I can't do it. I can't listen to the Buckhorn coach. He's a Hazel Green guy. So we lose him during this.
Tell him I respect his loyalty, and maybe just once he could listen to us.
I see. I think he might be just a little bit. He says that he sent me a text just a minute ago on the text window, and he said, "I'll be back after Coach." And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? He's probably still listening a little bit. He said because he can't resist. You know what I mean? I think at the end of the day, he can't resist listening. So he's probably still tuned in a little bit to the show. Now we got another listener, Kramer. He's an official. He's a football official, and he has a question. He wants to know whether or not. In the Buckhorn games and your home games, do you run a 5 or a 7-man officiating crew?
We run 7. We run 7 as much as possible.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And then he also wants to know if you research your crews at all. Do you know ahead of time like who your crew is, and does it affect at all your play calling during a game, knowing who is in your game? If you got a back judge that's pass interference happy or anything like that. Do you do any scouting of the crew that you have?
I look at it every Sunday when they get their assignments. Sometimes they can change with some logistics type stuff and other games in the association, but I typically look at it and have an idea of who we got. Really had no complaints all year so far, but no, I don't let that affect my play calling. I mean, I think our play calling is really affected by how our opponent's going to align to our sets and what they can give us and, what their weaknesses and strengths are.
Do you put a gag order on your assistants from the sideline to where you're the only one that speaks to an official, or are you okay with a coordinator or whatever maybe saying something to an official, or do you coach up your assistant coaches and say nobody talks to the officials except for me?
I wouldn't say it's a gag order, but it's pretty understood that I'm gonna be the one that does all the fussing. They can talk to them. They can work together. I think you got to work together. But if anybody's going to get a 15-yard penalty for fussing at an official, it better be me.
Do you temper that a little bit in as much as that? Because I know with me, it was always if you just are screaming at them all the time, then they tune you out. You know what I mean? They just tune you out. But if you have like a running communication with them, and then all of a sudden something egregious happens, it seems like they take it a little bit more seriously because they realize that maybe something was missed because this guy doesn't act like this all the time. Because some coaches, they just holler about everything, and then the official you lose them.
I'll be honest with you. I try to stay calm and cool, and I try to talk with them throughout the game as much as possible on stuff that we've seen. And I'll be honest, I actually send film in for them to study, and I send some film into a previous game if I'm seeing something from an opponent that I want them to look at and prepare for before the game. So, I guess to kind of answer your question and all here, do I try to find an edge? Yes. I'm always searching for a way to help my team out in any scenario that may pop up in the game that's coming up on Friday night.
Do you kind of let them know if you've got something in the plan, or that, hey, you might see this, you might see that, we're going to do this unbalanced, or I've got a punt fake in the game plan, just kind of stay loose for that? Or, you kind of give them a little bit of coaching pregame, game night, and just let them know what's going on a little bit.
Yeah, they do a great job in their pregame meetings of asking you that. Hey, coach, y'all have anything that you want to do? So, and usually you give them a heads up. We run our jet sweep. We actually toss it rather than hand it off, because if we drop it, it's a forward pass and it's incomplete. Right. So I always remind them of that. And then if we do run I think we ran it versus Gadsden City where we ran the jet sweep throwback pass. Told them we run that, and now we hand that. That way we can have we don't have 2 forward passes.
Right.
So you cover anything that you may do that week, some unbalanced shifts and things. But I tell you what, throughout the year that we use the Huntsville Association, they're getting more districts now. The Huntsville Association this year for us has been outstanding. I thought the game at Helena was very, very well run professionally.
Mm-hmm.
The only game that I really got frustrated with, I guess, was past Friday night at Gunnersville a little bit. I felt like a little one-sided. Not to say that the penalties they called on us weren't penalties, but I thought the things weren't called on them when the same situations arose on their side.
Yeah. As a special teams coordinator, I had some goofy stuff in there in terms of returns and things. So I would always talk to those guys a little bit and let them know that we were going to be doing on specs. Now all I have to do is find the timer guy, the back judge who keeps the clock, and let them know that, hey, this game is on live radio. Can you please make sure we get a full minute after a score? Because some of these guys will rush it. By Hoyle, you're supposed to get 60 seconds after a score before the kickoff, and you see some of these guys even on timeouts. To be a timeout, we'll go to a Buckhorn Youth Association timeout, and the next thing you know, we're 20 seconds into the commercial, and they got the ball in play again. You got to get that. That's the biggest thing for us, is to kind of let them know that we're on live radio here. Give us our time.
Well, I'll let them know tomorrow night. I'll tell them to take your time.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, we'd like to pay the bills. You know what I mean? We want to take care of the great sponsors that make Buckhorn football possible on the air. Speaking of special teams, you ran a little fake punt there. I'm sure that wasn't Jack Roop going on his own on that fake punt. And man, he could have run forever. It seemed like that was a good call at a good time.
Yeah, we kind of need a little spark right there, and that's really and truly, that's a little call from the sideline. Only 2 guys know we fake it. Jack knows it, and Jordan Edwards, the lead blocker, and everyone else thinks we're punting.
Okay.
So you don't want to tell everybody sometimes it's a fake, because sometimes they'll mess up and not do what they need to do. So it's just that's an alignment deal that they kind of look at the side to me, and we give a signal, either kick it or run that. So we have some things built in there. We have some one-word calls also we can call real fast at the line of scrimmage to to run punts. We have about 5 fakes off that set that we can run and we rep, which that's what we do on Thursday's practice. We rep all the scenarios. Heck, we even rep slow safety. Late in the ball game backed up and things you want to do there, not to give up a touchdown on a block or a return, take the safety, and then do the free kick after the safety. So a lot of different scenarios that we can work and we can do that you as a former special teams guy, I'm sure is aware of. A lot of things that maybe fans don't know, and maybe, if they ever see it happen in a game, we work fair catch, free kick, kick on punt return. I've seen that happen once live in a game in my life. So, but it's stuff that people work and something that people prepare for to take advantage of on Friday night.
We actually called that segment a practice scenario, and we would do that always on the same thing Thursday, even with college football when we played on Saturdays, obviously. But we would call that scenario, and we would do probably 15, 20 minutes of scenario, both offense, defense, and special teams, of every different possible scenario that could come up in the game, and you'd rep that stuff. And you could have a fake call. We would have a fake called, and like if we're at midfield and we'd have a fake punt called, but same thing. He would look over to the sideline, and then he would get either a red or a green call, and a green meant run it, and a red meant no, go ahead and kick it. We don't like what it looks like, right now. But now, is that something you see on film? Like, because I noticed that Guntersville, it seemed like they were bailing like crazy, on that particular one, and there was nobody there. I mean, it was great that he had a lead blocker and everything, but for 25 yards, he had nobody in his face because Guntersville was bailing. Is that stuff that you guys will pick up in your film study?
We see some of it on film, but some of it you see in the game. In that scenario there, they didn't have a contained guy. They had no one to make sure that we ensured the kick.
Right.
So we had them outnumbered, and that's kind of, it was obviously it was to the boundary. But that's just one of those deals that you look for. You look for numbers. You look for the edge. That are they playing contained? And then the good thing is too, when you fake some punts, a lot of times it'll discourage future opponents from coming after your punts.
Yep.
Just because they know that you got the ability to fake it. I think we were on our own 31-yard line. I think it was maybe 4th and 9. And it's one of those deals too. You got to be willing to call it anywhere if they give you the numbers, because like what you saw, I think it was a 35-yard run. Make people work it, put it on film, and let people think, 4th and 3 at midfield. A lot of people say, "Hey, watch the fake, watch the fake." Not many people are saying watch the fake when it's 4th and 9, it's your own 30, or in different scenarios like that. So it's just a built-in check that we run from the sideline, though.
There's an old adage that the first one that pulls a fake, whether it's a fake field goal or fake punt, the other team won't do it. You know what I mean? That once, if you do it, they won't do it, the rest of the game. And a lot of people think you'll never do it twice in a game. And, and so every once in a while you could draw. I used to love watching Frank Beamer and his stuff. And Shane Beamer now, he's got some good special team stuff in there. That's a chip off the old block there. But Frank Beamer was the best at that. It seemed like they had a fake every game. They had something different going on, in every game. All right, here's another question from our referee friend, and this is a good one because this happened to you twice. He says, and he has no idea of what went on in your game against Guntersville last week. He says, do you have an opinion on the Mountain Brook shift, which we would call the Guntersville shift? That's the pre-snap shift where the offense tries to legally shift and also tries to get the defense to encroach. And just for those of you that didn't listen to the game, Guntersville did this a couple of times where they lined up and they literally shifted their whole offensive line. They jumped a guard from one side of the center to the other side of the center, and twice they got Buckhorn to jump on that thing. Are you okay with that, or you think that should be illegal?
Both ways. As an offensive-minded coach, I like it. As a defensive-minded coach, Friday night, you tell your guys to key the ball. But at the same time, you also key your guys to key movement. If that tackle jumps, you need to rush to try to say, "Hey, drew me offside."
Yeah.
And Guntersville does a really good job with it. And what they do is they will pull their guard and their tackle like a GT run scheme, because it's overset. They're just getting back to where they were, and it's like a GT scheme. Well, our defensive linemen both times jump. They jumped, and they both said the same thing. Well, we thought he was pulling, so we were trying to, reduce the gap. Well, that's their
ball.
job. So, it's just something you got to work. But, I knowing Coach Reese and why they do it, it makes defenses play on their heels.
And then other people are going to try and do it to you. You know what I mean? Because now they see, they're jumpy. We try and do something. I mean, that's all we do in coaching, right? Is just rip other people off. You know what I mean? You see something you like, you steal it, you put it in your offense. Say, hey, we got to do that. And what I don't like is in the high school game, it drives me nuts. You should be allowed to get back, right? Because in your game, I guess the rule is as soon as you go into the neutral zone, that's it. You're offsides. I guess you should be able to step in and step back. And sometimes you had one called, not this game, I think it was the game before. You had a linebacker come up to the line of scrimmage, and he kind of showed. He never went across the ball. He looked like he jumped, but he was still far enough back to where he didn't go into the neutral zone, and they called him for offsides, and I'm like, the kid never even got into neutral zone.
That happened last week. That was last week.
Was that last week? Okay.
What crossed the neutral zone? The referee told me it was his hand.
Yeah, that's a change that needs to be made. You got to be able to get back.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of changes. I think that as a coach, some things need to be more consistent. Last year in the game, we had a kid. Like I said, and it's my fault. We had a kid fair catch a kickoff last year in the game on the 2-yard line. But it was the game. It was the first Friday after the Thursday night game opening college football. What do you see in college football now? Everybody's fair catching kickoffs inside the 25 to get to 25. He came to the sideline and said, why don't we get it here? Well, as a coach, it's never been a rule in high school. You just assumed everybody knows to kick it and run because that's been the way it's been forever. Yeah. But I feel like there needs to be a lot more consistency between the college and high school game because that's what our kids are watching. And there's just a lot of inconsistencies there of, the intentional grounding, of being able to throw. I think we're just now in high school ball being able to throw the ball away outside the pocket and getting rid of the ball. That was a big rule for a long time. There's just a lot of things that I feel like the NFHS and then the NCAA, if they could align things better, I think it could be better for officials and coaches because coaches fuss at officials about rules that they think are rules that don't apply to high school.
Right.
It's what they hear on Saturday, and it's what they see when they watch television and things like that. I mean, that rule book's pretty in depth, and there's some wild scenarios that show up that are from an official's point of view and a coach's point of view. Offset penalties on 2 live ball fouls.
Yeah.
I've seen that in the JV game this year. We threw a pick 6 and they roughed the passer, and then I don't remember I don't remember if we did something or not too, but it was 2 live ball fouls, or maybe we had offensive holding, and then they had roughened the passer. Well, they returned it for a touchdown. Well, they're both live ball fouls, so they offset the penalty, replayed the down.
Mm-hmm.
That's the right call, but people don't understand that sometimes.
Yeah, and and that goes for broadcasters too, because I know I've been tripped up because you like I just said about getting into the neutral zone and then getting back. I remember the first few times I saw it, I said on the air, I said, wait a minute, he got back, and I'm like, oh, that's right, that's not the rule in high school. Yeah, I wish it was more uniform. Or you can also get one of your young coaches, you get one of them slappies, and what you do is you have them make up a sheet. And of all the differences in the rules from NFL, college, and high school, and hand it out to the kids and say, these are things that you see that are not in our game. The NFL has that deal now where you can fair catch inside the 20 and put the ball at the 25-yard line. That's ridiculous. Yep. Yeah, and they're not even going to – I'll tell you what. In the NFL, they won't be kicking off in another year or two. They won't be kickoffs anymore. You watch. Or they won't be kicking off the way we kick off now. It'll look like the USFL or the XFL. They'll move everybody down the field, and so you don't get those big collisions. All right, huge game coming up this weekend. With Mae Jemison, a surprise winner in my mind over Lee. Lee had opened up 3-0, and then Mae Jemison got him 19-18. So everybody's with this 1-1. Bunch of you is all kind of tied into region. You get into a stretch of 3 straight region games. What are you seeing out of Mae Jemison as you prepare for this game here tomorrow night?
Very athletic. They're well coached. They have identities on both sides of the ball. and they've gotten better every week. I know they've had some they've given up some points there to some good teams. Athens and Huntsville and Fort Payne has scored on them. But last week versus Huntsville, I believe it was 32-25 at halftime. Jemison led for the majority of the half. Huntsville pulled away there in the second half, but I mean, they're a big play team. They can score at any play, which has obviously been a big issue for us defensively, is the number of big plays that we have given up for touchdowns. So they're worrisome. They got a really good. I think their strength, their defense, is the defensive line. They like to play a lot of man-to-man coverage. They got a little 10th grade quarterback that can make things happen and get the ball to their playmakers, and they got some receivers who can do stuff with it. And their running backs, a dynamic running back. He's going to carry the ball anywhere between 20 to 30 times tomorrow night, and he's a load. So we got to go there and play, Tom. We can't show up and lay an egg and expect to win a ball game. We got to create some explosive plays. We got to create some turnovers on defense, and we got to win special teams. I think tomorrow night special teams could be the difference in the ball game.
It's a beautiful setting. I've done a game down there at Joe Davis Stadium. It's a really, really nice setup for a game, and we wish you the best of luck, man. We'll have the game, of course, on the air and on our primary feed as well, and looking for an opportunity for the Bucs to get their second win in the region, but it ought to be a really good one. Coach, I appreciate you as always, man. Good stuff.
All right, thanks, Tom.
All right, that Coach Matt Patterson. All right, LSU Lynch, you can come back to the show now. Holler. LSU Lynch, you can come back to the show. Maybe I'll just respond to him on the text one, and know he can come back. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll come back and wrap up our number one. We'll tell you what caller you need to be to play Beat the Big Dog next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Next time you're online looking for landscaping inspiration, open Instagram and check out Southern Gent Landscaping. They can help make your yard your dream outdoor oasis. Southern Gent Landscaping can handle it all, from landscape maintenance and installation to irrigation and hardscapes, even AstroTurf. Turn your yard into a landscape you'll be proud to show off. Call Southern Gent Landscaping at 256-509-6088. 509-6088. Southern Gent Landscaping. Professional landscaping performed with satisfaction guaranteed.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GeneracSuperstore.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high? But so is average consumer debt. Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com for more information.
Here's Bobby White from Woody Anderson Ford on their service department.
President's Award winner 2 years in a row. That's only given to the top 10% of Ford dealers in customer satisfaction. So we're very proud of the service department. And our body shop. If you happen to get into an accident, which not a lot of people just want to go down and see a body shop, but if you get into an accident, award-winning body shop. We have state-of-the-art paint booths back there. They're waterborne paints that we use, friendly for the environment. We've got our production system, the way things are in and out. We have the fastest cycle rate in town of getting your vehicle in, getting your vehicle out, and assured that it's fixed right. We take pictures before it's wrecked, and not only after, but we take it as we're putting the parts on. All done to above industry standards. So I'm proud of our body shop too. Don't forget our parts department. So, if you happen to need parts, performance parts, or just parts if you're a weekend mechanic.
Woody Anderson Ford, located at the corner of Jordan and Sparkman, as well as Hughes Road and Madison. You can also check out the great deals at WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
New coordinators.
That's as good as money, sir.
New quarterback.
It's my quarterback.
Same coach.
Hi, and you all may be taking the week off, this week, but I'm not.
We are your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. If you've been hurt in an accident, you got to call Pond Lee Hockey Giordano. Work accident, slip and fall accident, any kind of injury, you call Pond Lee Hockey Giordano because they're going to take care of you. They're true advocates, and they're going to fight for you, and they know the ins and outs of all the legal game. They are Alabama's injury law firm. That's Pond Lee Hockey, and don't forget you can call them 855-774-3838. That's 855-774-3838 or pondleehockey.com. Do you think LSU Lynch is back yet in the mix? No, I mean, I wonder if he's back listening. I know he's not on the phone, but I wonder if he's you think he's back? I don't know. Yeah. Well, maybe he's waiting to see what number he has to be to play Beat the Big Dog. Eitan Shander is going to be our guest picker from Philadelphia. He does TV and radio in Philadelphia. He is a handicapper, but he's also Philadelphia, so we're going to get a Phillies update from him, and we'll play Beat the Big Dog. I'll tell you what. Last year, the Phillies beat the Braves in 4. This year, the Braves beat the Phillies in 4 in the NLDS. So let's be caller number 4 right now. Caller number 4 plays Beat the Big Dog for Music City Bowl tickets. 256-576-4977. Be caller number 4. Play Beat the Big Dog. It's not hard to beat me these days. We'll do it next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Good day, I'm Doug Brown. Sweeps only in the wild card round of the baseball playoffs. The Phillies make it 2 straight at home, eliminating the Marlins 7-1. That sets up a best-of-5 division series rematch against the Braves, a series the Phils won last year in 4 games. The Diamondbacks make it 2 straight in Milwaukee, finishing off the Brewers 5-2. Next up for Arizona, the Dodgers. In the American League, the Rangers play the Orioles. The Twins move on to meet the Astros. All 4 of those division series start Saturday, and every game of the baseball postseason is right here on ESPN Radio. Rangers right-hander Max Scherzer able to throw without pain Wednesday, but it's still a long shot that he'll be able to pitch against the Orioles. He's been out more than 3 weeks with a right shoulder strain.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi,
My name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Thom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Injuries at work happen all the time in Alabama. So do motor vehicle and slip and fall accidents. If you're hurt at work or injured in an accident, I want you to call my good friends at Pond Lehocky Giordano. That's Pond Lehocky, Alabama's injury law firm. They got your back just like they've got mine. For personalized legal support, reach out to Pond Lehocky at 855-774-3838 or pondlehocky.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Your roof is the first line of defense for your home. Do you have water stains on your ceiling, paint peeling off your walls, shingles missing? It's probably time for you to get your free roof inspection. Locally owned and operated, licensed, and insured, Yellowhammer Roofing is the Yellowhammer State hometown team. Yellowhammer Roofing. Let our family protect what's most important to you, your family. 256-232-1933 or online at yellowhammerroofing.com.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy to overcast sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be in the forecast for a good chunk of the afternoon, even as we head into the evening. Some of that activity could linger into the overnight, and then through the earliest hours of your Friday morning. Through the later part of Friday morning, Friday afternoon, that activity is going to get its way on out of the Tennessee Valley, leaving us with a partly sunny sky for Friday afternoon, and highs climbing into the lower 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, this is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Join us every week for Alabama football right here.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
You know, there are rules to success, my friend. Rule number one is know what you know what you don't know, and know that I gotta know everything you know as soon as you know it.
Oh, that can only mean one thing, that it's time for Beat the Big Dog, which is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford and the service department at Woody Anderson Ford, which is second to none. Woody Anderson Ford at the corner of Sparkman and Jordan. It's Woody Anderson Ford, WoodyAndersonFord.com. Don't be a lemon.
I'll say this without sounding a little rude, but you're a lemon.
Don't be a lemon. Don't be a lemon. I am off to the worst start ever in the 15-year history of Beat the Big Dog. You know how this Thursday and Friday, we have Steve Merrill coming up from Pro Sports Info a little bit later on in the show, and I'm always off to some stupid 24-6 or some crazy start to the season. This year, I couldn't hit water if I fell out of a boat. I would be totally honest with you. You have a great opportunity here. I've been beaten twice already by you, the listeners. All right? I am 13-17 against the spread. Another week like last week, and I'm going to have to remortgage the house. I'm going to be totally honest with you. It's bad. The only thing that's worse than me is my producer, Grizz. I mean, he's 11-19 on the year. The guest pickers are 8-11 on the year. They suck too. All right. Mo Carter last week from Fox 54. He was the first one to beat me in, from the guests. And you, the listeners, are a combined 13-17 as well. So it is a bloodbath so far this year, and we look to get it straightened out. And our guest picker from Philadelphia Radio and TV is Eitan Shander. I went to Philadelphia because the Braves and the Phillies, of course, NLDS Bardu coming up beginning on Saturday. Eitan is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And Eitan, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, I'm fantastic. You have a real capper on, I hear, and Steve coming up. This is just the warm-up act.
Yeah, I got my two cappers, Steve and Lee Sterling joins us from Paramount Sports on Fridays. And
with me.
Those guys already make their picks every week, so I figure I'm going to go with a guest picker from Philadelphia, and you're pretty solid as well. I mean, don't be selling yourself short. Obviously, you're pretty good.
In college, absolutely. That's where I'm at. Don't ask me to handicap my Phillies. I'm just good live. That's all.
You also do a lot of the props. I noticed that you like to pick some of the props. You find value in those props out there. This guy's going to have more yards than that guy and all that kind of stuff. Who's going to hit a home run and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, you try to, because a lot of the stuff isn't. Try to find stuff that's not as popular. I guess that's player props, because the idea is that if it's not as saturated of a market, it's going to be easier to beat. Or at the very least, it's going to be easier to find a discrepancy. One book's got them at 58.5 yards to go over, and everybody else is at 64. So It's like, oh well, that's the book hasn't moved yet. Somebody's either lagging or doesn't believe it, and then the rest of the market's telling you the other thing. So I've always looked at it logically, right? Like, who's more likely to be wrong, one book or 10 books?
Right. Great point. Eitan Shander with us here. All right, before we bring our listener in and play our Beat the Big Dog today, just your thoughts as we get ready for Phillies Braves Part 2, and the fact that, the Phillies finished 14 games behind the Braves. You know what? They finished 14 games behind the Braves last year, too, and took them out in 4. Game 1, obviously, is going to be critical. Tell me why the Phillies are so dangerous again this year against a 104-win Braves team that took 8 of the 13 games against the Phillies this year.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if it's going to be the same result, even though you see a similar entrance into the series. I think, and I'm going to appeal to another world here, which is college football. This feels like a revenge game. Like, this feels like it feels like the Red River, Oklahoma, coming back from an absolute embarrassment, and they have the horses now. Atlanta is as good, if not better. I mean, they're better. Acuna is doing some special stuff. the one thing that the Phillies have that I think really helps them is their mentality and how they play and their energy. All of that you see and saw over the last 2 games at home, that transfers, that carries. This team is the same exact way on the road as they are. And to go into Atlanta with no fear because they've beaten Spencer Strider, they've knocked the Braves off last year. That's the one biggest thing to answer your question. But personally, I think Atlanta is way more motivated this year than they were last year. They don't want to make that same mistake, and they're better. So I'm not rushing to the window to bet the Phillies by any means.
They're better, but the pitching is still, I mean, it's banged up. I mean, the issue right now is that, Spencer Strider, and they got him in the playoff game last year in Game 3, but he has never lost in a regular season against them, and he was we have disputing numbers here. He was 3-0 or 4-0 against the Phillies this year. So he pitched really well against the Phillies this year. But then after that, you got Max Fried with blisters, and he's supposed to pitch, but he hasn't pitched in a couple of weeks, so you don't know what you're going to get there. Charlie Morton is all. Kyle Wright is now a reliever. He's not the guy he was last year because of injury. So you got different guys coming in, and it's a 104-win team that was playing more like a 90-win team down the stretch because of the pitching not being as healthy.
Yeah, I also don't know how much, and I know people don't want to hear this, but I also don't know how much the foot was taken off the gas. Look, you take a look at the standings. No, right? I mean, nobody's catching that team. I don't know, and I don't know. I'm not even countering and saying, no, Tom, that's not the case. I really don't know, and the problem is if that was the case, baseball's a really difficult, man. Baseball's a really difficult sport to just wake up and say, I'm going to flip on the switch, right? Like you can't control it like a quarterback. You don't have 3 guys on the NBA floor or college basketball floor. There's no dynamic play. A starting pitcher, but you're at the mercy, as you mentioned, of the rotation. So that's an issue. I tell you, the one thing though that if you're the Phillies, you cannot rely on the long ball. Because if you're going up against a banged-up situation where it's a patchwork starter because of what's going on with injuries, and you get 2 runs in a game where, 3 guys over Atlanta can triple that, next thing you know, you're looking at 6-7-2 because you just kept swinging for the fences on some dude that, shouldn't be starting in the first place. The Phillies have lost that way a lot, especially earlier in the season. So they at least have that in their DNA. They just can't afford to have that come out anymore.
Same concern a little bit with the Braves is that, as me, as a longtime Yankee fan, I have seen year after year after year, they're out there banging around, hitting home runs, doing all that, and winning a bunch of games. But when it gets good on good, it always comes down to pitching. And I don't care if you hit more home runs than everybody in baseball, you better be able to put the ball in play now because you can't go up there and all of a sudden you're going to look up and you're down 2 games to none in a best of 5 series. Yeah, because you're trying to rake, because everybody can, just because you can, you're trying to do it. Very rarely do these playoff games end up being slugfest. So we'll see how all of that shakes out. All right, let's see who you're helping as the guest picker this week. It's Floyd joins us now, and Floyd will be our listener picker. Floyd, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing good, Tom. How are you?
I'm fantastic. All right, the way this works is we're going to alternate games. You will hear Grizz's selection. You will hear our guest picker 8-time